Alright, this is my desk setup where I do pretty much everything. I work here, I eat here, I listen to music here, I film and edit videos here. In a small studio apartment in New York City, this one spot does a lot of the heavy lifting. I've been building and iterating on desk setups for years, but moving into this apartment has forced me to be more intentional than I've ever had to be. Every single item had to earn its place, and keeping my desk setup organized is no longer optional since it's literally the centerpiece of my entire living space. What I ended up with is a setup that I genuinely love being at. It's not just practical for getting work done, but is actually enjoyable to spend time at, which I think is something that often gets overlooked. So in this video, I'll walk you through my new productivity desk setup and specifically the upgrades that actually improved my quality of life. Let's get into it. Alright, so one of my favorite upgrades that I've made to this new setup is just going all in on the audio side of things, which is something that I think is pretty underrated when it comes to desk setups. I have a bit of a background in music production and audio engineering, and I guess I'm a bit of an audiophile, but nothing too extreme. So my setup might be a bit overkill for your needs, but I do think even if you just enjoy listening to music casually while you work or watching movies or videos or anything that involves sound while you're at your desk, I do think it is worth investing in a decent audio setup, whether that's a pair of studio monitors or just good headphones or anything like that. Yes, of course, you can listen to things on your AirPods or the built-in speakers on your computer, but there's something different about listening on a proper pair of speakers or some good quality headphones that just not only makes the sound quality way better, but just makes the whole experience more enjoyable. And also just having some nice speakers on your desk looks kind of cool if I'm being honest. But in my setup, I have the Yamaha HS8s. I got these about 6 years ago when I was doing more music production and audio engineering, and these are a phenomenal pair of speakers. They sound incredible, but definitely overkill for your average desk setup, and especially in this smaller apartment space. They're more designed for being put in a proper music studio, and in retrospect, I probably should have gotten the HS7s or even the HS5s, which are much smaller but still sound great. But these still work at my setup. They just take up a bit of space. And I connect these speakers to my computer through this Scarlett audio interface that I have stuck to the bottom of my desk. And this is nice. It means I have this big volume knob that I can easily adjust. And this also will connect to my Shure microphone, which I'm using right now to record this video. Also connected to my audio interface are these Sennheiser HD600 headphones. They're open back, sound great, very nice neutral sounding. I find that these headphones are a lot less fatiguing than some of the closed back headphones like the Sony's or the AirPods Max, which I still use, but have really enjoyed using this pair at this new setup. I've also connected a turntable to my Yamaha so I can put on a record while I'm cooking or doing other things around the apartment. By the way, if we haven't met yet, my name is Miles and I make content about practical, everyday tech like this, along with some lifestyle vlogs and some camera/photography content. If any of that interests you, definitely please click subscribe. Now, one of the cheapest but also most impactful upgrades that I keep at my desk is this little timer thing that you can just twist and set a very simple timer, satisfying to use. And I use this to set just like a 60 or 90 minute focus session, and it really helps me just push through any last minute resistance and just get started on whatever work or project that I want to do that day. And honestly, also it's useful to remind me to stop working and get up and take a break, get some movement, go outside, take a walk, something like that, because otherwise I will just keep working forever and get burnt out. Yes, of course, you can use the timer on your computer or your phone, but there's something nice about having a good old-fashioned physical timer like this. All right, the next upgrade that makes a big difference for me is of course the monitor. I do a lot of video work, color grading, photo editing, things like that. So it's really important that I have a high quality, sharp, color accurate monitor. And so in my current setup, I've been using this BenQ MA270U monitor. And this is a pretty solid monitor for the price. The main difference from other monitors I've used in the past is that the colors are specifically designed to match the colors of my built-in MacBook screen, which is pretty important for me. And besides that, there's no webcam built in, and the speakers on the monitor are pretty bad, but that's not really an issue for me anymore since I have the proper speakers at my desk. Now, if you watched the previous video where I talked about my desk setup, you'll know that I was considering upgrading this monitor to the Apple Studio Display, but I was waiting for Apple to release the new one, which they did earlier this month, but As you can see, I still haven't upgraded because I'm still on the fence about all that. The update was pretty disappointing, at least for the base studio display. There's still no 120 Hertz, basically the same exact monitor and the same price. So yeah, I still am on the fence. If you have the Apple Studio display, definitely let me know what you think. Do you think it's worth getting that in 2026? Should I look at other options? Basically, the main thing for me is just having nice colors, and it would be nice to have a built-in webcam as well. But I don't know, it's expensive obviously, but it looks really nice. Every time I see it in person in the Apple Store, I'm like, ooh, I want that. But I'm holding off for now, but let me know down in the comments if you have one of them or what you would recommend as far as a monitor. But for now, the setup definitely gets the job done, and I really like how it looks being held up by this monitor arm from today's sponsor, Vernal, who also happened to make the desk that this entire setup is built around. I wouldn't really call the desk itself an upgrade because it's kind of the foundation of the entire setup. Everything else in this video literally sits on top of it, so if there's one place worth allocating your budget, it's probably here. I have the maple hardwood finish, but honestly, it's something that you need to see in person. It just looks beautiful, it feels premium, and it's the kind of thing that makes the whole setup feel intentional rather than just thrown together. Vernal offers desktops ranging from 48 to 78 inches and more affordable laminated options too if you want to keep costs down. But honestly, the hardwood version is really something else. The depth is also worth highlighting because it honestly is the most important measurement to look for in a desk, and this one is noticeably deeper than others that I've used. More front to back space means there's more room for the entire setup to breathe, and along with the monitor arm, there's even enough room for my cat to sleep while I'm working. The stability is excellent too, which was essential for me given how much expensive equipment I have on the desk. The frame is rated to hold up to 350 pounds, and Vernal actually backs that up with independent third-party testing. A lot of standing desk brands just kind of throw out random numbers, so I definitely respect that they publish the actual data. There's also a built-in anti-collision system that automatically detects resistance, so if something is in the way while it's moving, it stops immediately rather than just pushing through it. Vernal also offers a few different accessories that can be genuine game changers depending on the needs of your setup. They have a desk shelf that will help keep your monitor at eye level, give you a bit of extra storage, and just make any setup look cleaner. Or you can go for a monitor arm if you like to keep the surface of your desk more minimal. Your cable management tray makes it effortless to keep your cables organized, and I really like the drawer for keeping daily use items within arm's reach without cluttering the surface. You can also attach wheels, which are super useful if you ever need to move your setup around. Vernal's desks start at just $459, so click the link in the description to check them out and use my code for an extra 6% off. All right, now let's talk cable management, charging solutions, and just everything with cords and wires and stuff. Managing cables and routing them to be functional, but also still clean is probably the biggest challenge with any desk setup, and especially with mine since I've got all this extra audio equipment, lights, YouTube camera stuff. There are a lot of cables that I needed to set up at my desk. But there are a few key upgrades that have really helped me keep things pretty organized to the point where I'm fairly happy with my cable management at this setup. The first is my CalDigit TS3 docking station. I've had this for a number of years now. I've actually stuck it under the desk this time to keep the top surface of my desk as clear as possible. And this just allows me to connect just one cable to my laptop and then power my entire setup, connect my speakers, microphone, monitor, hard drives, you name it. I've also got this monitor arm from Vernal, which allows me to kind of hide some of the key cables and consolidate them down to the back of the desk. I also have this cable management tray underneath, which makes the whole process a lot easier because I can just sit the entire power strip on this tray and use it to hide a lot of the cables and just kind of stuff everything back in there. But I do also have a bunch of cable ties that I've stuck underneath the desk at various points. Now, when I need to quickly charge something like my iPad or camera batteries or just plug in anything, I have a charging sort of multi-port station thing from, I believe it's Joyrom, and I've attached this to the bottom of the desk as well. And the really nice thing about this is it has two built-in retractable USB-C cables, which I think charge up to like 100 watts or something. And so I can just quickly reach underneath my desk, pull out one of these cables, plug in the thing, and once it's finished charging, I can just unplug it and it'll slide back underneath my desk out of sight. It does also have a couple other ports, and it shows you some cool things with like charging speeds and wattage and stuff, but the big game changer is just the ability to quickly reach for and hide these cables for charging. Now, the next part of my setup that I really enjoy is the lighting. I've gone for a more minimal lighting setup, no crazy RGB flashing gamer lights, just this Nice clean stainless steel desk lamp, kind of looks like the Pixar lamp that kind of jumps around in those animations. I also had this overhead pendant light. Both of these have Philips Hue smart bulbs in them, which means I can change the color temperature around, which is really nice. I have them automatically set up so that at the start of the day, they're really bright to help kind of wake me up and energize me so I can stay focused. Later in the day, they turn kind of warm, and then at night, they turn red so it doesn't negatively impact my sleep. Not only is lighting important for practical reasons, but it's the one thing that will really determine the mood or vibe of your entire setup. Next up, worth mentioning, is my keyboard and mouse. Obviously, this is an essential part of any setup. Not much has changed here for me. I still love using this Keychron keyboard. I really like how this one also has the number pad on here, which I use quite often, but it's still pretty compact, unlike larger full-size keyboards. And of course, the color scheme on here is very nice. I like kind of the off-white, sort of woody aesthetic, which I think really matches the rest of the setup well. I'm also still using this Logitech MX Master 3 mouse. I've had this for, I don't even know how long. It's definitely seen better days. It's a little worn in, but still definitely gets the job done. Don't really see much of a reason to upgrade this anytime soon. Now, another essential part of any desk setup is storage, and this will greatly depend on your individual needs, but it's something that I've been constantly trying to improve and optimize and get to the point where every single item I own has a specific spot to be put back to, which will make it a lot easier to keep my entire setup neat and clean. There are a few different things that have helped me with that. One being the desk drawer, where I store things that I access more frequently, like notebooks, tablets, hard drives, chargers, batteries, that type of thing. I also really like the storage solution that I got recently from Muji. It helps me just keep kind of medium-sized things organized, lenses, camera gear, notebooks, pens, batteries, just other random miscellaneous items. It also has these dividers that you can adjust inside depending on the size of your items, and you can also mix and match different versions of these drawers. They have a few different sizes, and they all have the same kind of minimal aesthetic, and they stack nicely. And they're pretty affordable, which I appreciate. And then lastly, for storing bigger items, I've been using this nightstand to the right of my desk, which also holds my turntable setup on top. Having these three storage solutions has worked quite well for me. I can have things that I access more frequently in more convenient spots, like within the desk drawer, whereas things that I access less frequently can be kind of tucked away in one of those other storage solutions. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching, and leave a comment down below what your favorite part of your desk setup is, or if you have any recommendations. I'm always on the lookout to try new gadgets and pieces of tech and report back to you on this channel what I think actually makes a difference in my life. And also remember to check out Vernal if you're interested, using the link in the description. And while you're down there, click subscribe if you haven't already, but if you made it this far, you probably already subscribed, right? See you in the next one.